I did like a 2% learn about it, see what it's all about.
Yeah.
But I just left my positions as they were.
Yeah, I tried it. I went through I can't think of the Voyager, and they went bankrupt. And like an idiot, I didn't know how to put my, I don't know how to put crypto on a whatever you call them, a ledger or whatever it is, so I had mine all with them. So I lost about 10 grand. And I was able to recoup maybe about 2 or 3 of that, but that was about it. So I stay away from crypto.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't trust it. I just don't think there's a good value of it. And if you really don't know what you're doing, you don't belong there.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. It's I try and treat it the same way I do investing.
Yep.
So I read the white papers, I make sure I know what the project is and actually has some sort of utility. But even those, like the craziness is it's like take an IPO and times the risk
Yep.
by like 80.
Oh yeah. Yep. And the problem is there's just too many people on TikTok that think they know about it, and then you listen to them and you take some of their advice, which you shouldn't, and you end up kind of, I don't know. I don't know much about it. I thought it'd be kind of a neat thing just to be involved in, but it's just too difficult.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
Overall, I definitely prefer it over Forex.
Yeah.
That one is such a ridiculous.
Yeah. No, I just, when you don't understand something, I understand stocks and mutual funds and things like that. I don't worry myself on that. I do have people that an advisor, but I don't really think I need him, but I just do it because he's a good friend and I think he gives me some good ideas. I've been with him for like almost 20 years now, probably,
Mm-hmm.
And I probably pay too much to have him because I think I'm probably smart enough, but it's just, I don't put everything with him, but I put a little every month,
Gotcha.
So, and it's Edward Jones. I don't know if you know a lot about them. I met the guy who was door knocking once about, like I said, 15, maybe even 20 years ago, and I kind of became friends with him, and I just don't know if it's the greatest thing to do, because I think you can do it on your own if you just do a little work,
Well, it's one of those about like, would you actually do it? So
Yeah.
if you're not going to, Edward Jones is fine.
Yep.
Just make sure you know your risk because they have a different level of risk
Yep.
investments. I think it's like 3 plans they have.
Sure.
So just make sure if your risk fits your goals.
Yep. Yep. And I think they're pretty, at least the guy I have is pretty, he doesn't take a lot of chances. You know what I'm getting at? He's pretty, where it's just kind of in the middle where you're not going to make a killing, but you're going to do fine. You know what I mean? And, that's kind of where my risk tolerance is too. I'm 51 and, I think, I need to have, obviously I don't want to be super risky, but I still have time too,
Right.
So.
That's the whole thing that, fortunately too, I don't know your income, but you can probably do like the Roth or backdoor and things and get all that benefit pretty soon.
Yep, for sure. Yep. No, I for sure do a Roth. That's my most important, I think I try to get these young people I work with to get involved in that too, because it's incredible what you can do with years. You know what I mean? I wish I would have started earlier.
The big ones that I'm trying to make sure like anyone not related to starting out, they have the Roth, the 529 and the custodial.
Yeah.
That way it's like others can help contribute and they're starting before the 18.
Yep. No, it's so important. You know, I probably started in my mid-20s, which isn't terrible, but, you know, I lost probably 5-6 good years that I could have had, you know?
Yeah. No, I did the same. Mine was more, I started probably around maybe 23-ish,
Yeah.
25. But I also took like a year just to learn everything.
For sure, yeah.
Because back in those days, everything was fee driven.
Yeah.
So if I tried to buy something or sell something, it cost $5 for a transaction.
Yeah. It's amazing how much that's changed. You know, people don't realize that, you know, we used to pay for our trades. We'd call somebody up and, hey, I want to make this trade, you know? Just
It's crazy.
So much different.
I'm glad though. I'm glad it's changed. And that's where the only time I will tip my hat off to Robinhood.
Yep.
I think they started that.
Yep. Yeah. No, I just it's amazing. I don't know how they really can do it, but I'm not gonna complain, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they were making a huge amount of money back when they were doing it.
Yeah.
That's why investing is so easy now, too. You know what I mean? Anybody can do it. I mean, as long as you take some time and, like you said, do research, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And people
not only that, like, for anyone listening, if you don't want to do any research, no risk, just do a target date fund.
Yep.
And you're good.
Yep, perfect, yeah. Or even any basically mutual fund, as long as you kind of see, you know, obviously don't put it all in one, but like I do VOO and things like that and different Vanguard funds, you know, and I mean, I think, like you said, if you don't want to do anything, just throw it in those, you know?
Yep.
And then I kind of got into, you know, later in the years, and my guy from Edward Jones, I buy stocks now, you know what I mean? I give him that opportunity, and he, you know, switches every 6-7 months when I have about $5,000 in each one and switch it around to a different one, you know? So I probably have about 20 to 30 of those right now, you know?
Oh, it's good though.
Yeah, it's very risky, but I think you know, I have a mutual fund, I have my Roth, why not, you know, try to do something different, you know?
Mm-hmm. I'm sure you're starting like with your blue chip. You're not trying to, you know, go crazy risky like all these EVs or things of that nature.
No, you know, if you're going to do that, you put money in that you're kind of okay to lose. You know what I mean? It's, you know, I'm more into, like you said, like the Facebooks or Meta and Microsoft and NVIDIA and things like that, you know, and I was lucky I got into Amazon pretty early and you know, it split and everything. So that was kind of nice to have that opportunity, you know, and you know, Amazon's going to be there forever. And so is, you know, Apple and Microsoft. You don't have to worry about companies like that going under, you know?
No, it's so true. The only thing, and you'll still be fine either way, I do think they're going to split up eventually.
Sure.
Yep. I think they'll do Amazon and AWS.
Yep.
But I have no idea when. I don't think anyone does.
No.
Hey guys, good morning.
Morning, Sultan.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good.
Awesome. Hey Henry, how's it going? I'm Sultan. Nice to meet you.
Good, yeah. Actually, my real name is Bill, but I use Henry. That's my dog there, so.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you guys. Jonathan is just such a nice guy, and kind of found him, I don't know, I think maybe through Aries and I can't think of the other gal. I think that's how I met you, Jonathan. I think you were on one of their lives, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, he's a great guy. I think we've met him through the social media and through different Discords and not. So
sure.
I try to say hi and pop in, when I can,
For sure.
that sort of thing. Yeah.
And kind of just talking about not a whole lot, just about stocks and where we're all investing and
Nice.
hear
Yeah,
that.
no, I caught a little bit of the tail end. You guys I think you're talking about a splitter. I caught the tail end of it.
Yeah, when I was younger, or not even that long ago, you know how Amazon split, and I got
Yeah.
in quite a bit before then, so I was pretty lucky, Not that I had a ton of shares, but it was nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Oh.
I'm not into crypto. We were kind of talking about that too. I lost pretty badly on that. Not that it's the end of the world, but I was in that Voyager. I don't know if you saw how they went bankrupt,
Uh-huh.
and I didn't have mine on a ledger or anything, so it was all making interest supposedly through them, because it was high interest, and of course,
Yeah.
like an idiot, I lost probably most of that 10 grand.
Yeah. No, I haven't traded crypto in a while, but I was like maybe a couple years ago. I got, caught up with the whole thing, and I was into all the like the altcoins and
Sure.
trying to hit the big one and that thing. But I forget which one I was trading. Maybe it was XRP, and it was another one. It was another one with the guy. It was like Tron something, or I was in, but that one went nowhere. It was the same thing. I was just like chasing my tail.
Yeah.
I didn't make anything. I think I lost some on it, and then what I did like, I liked it. I didn't like for me with the crypto, it was like the market never closed. So I was like, it got to the
Yeah.
point where I was always checking the thing. It's at night, the weekends, and I was like, I need
Yeah.
to just kind of step away. I was like, this thing does not, it doesn't shut off. So I stopped for a while. But eventually I did go. So I do investing too, and I do some day trading on the side, and eventually I think the crypto thing did lead me to I was trading options for a while, but what I mostly trade now is futures. So I do kind of like the futures market. It doesn't open 24/7, but it does open, after hours at night and
Sure.
on Sundays. But before I even started trading those, I was like, going back to the crypto, I was like, let me make sure I can handle this, because I didn't want to fall into that same bucket
Yeah.
of like, checking it
Oh, yeah.
literally 24/7.
I know
Yeah.
exactly how you feel. That's just funny. I didn't remember that, but yeah, I'd wake up at 2 in the morning and let's
Yeah.
see what's going on, and I'm like, this is
Yeah.
not good for me. I'm
Yeah.
not getting my sleep. I'm not doing
Yeah.
anything. Uh,
No, same here. I would spend like my weekends, the whole weekends looking at it. I'm like, the thing wasn't doing anything. It was just something to look at and
yep.
go to this one, go to that one. It was getting bad. I was like, all right, I gotta kind of, take my
Yeah.
loss, take a step back.
That's hilarious that happened to you because it's so like me too. It was just like it was getting bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You can't do
yeah,
that. That's the only thing that's nice about the stock market. You're done at 4:30 or 4 or whatever.
yeah, yeah. I was following one guy I like to follow, and he's looking at crypto, but more for like long term. He's thinking, I guess he likes that it got over the 50K and it's kind of holding, and he's like, crypto can do anything. It could be right back down, but
Yep.
he's looking at more like long term names, like I think like 4 to 6 months out. I know one he liked that I'll look at. I think it's one of the Bitcoin miners is like Mara, and some other smaller ones, but he's thinking of just keeping those on his radar, maybe getting a small little piece and
Sure.
just holding them type of thing. So I might do that, but in terms of like the trading, I haven't I haven't done it in a long time.
No. No, that's hard to do, man. I got to stay away from it. I lost, and I'm not going to get back in.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's the main thing is just find something that works for you and then do that. Like if crypto's not your thing because either it moves too much, you don't understand it, like just don't do it. If
Yeah.
you're an ETF, low risk, do that. The whole thing though is just be invested.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just like stocks, though. At least you own something. You know what I mean? Where you're part of the company, basically. Or I don't know, crypto. What are you really owning?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think too, something most people don't realize is certain stocks, if you own them, they give you perks.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, like if you own Ford and you're going to buy a vehicle, they'll actually give you a percentage off.
Wow.
That's true. Yeah.
Wow, that's
a good
interesting.
point. Yeah, I know there's some. I think maybe you would tell us about this, Jonathan. There's some perks with. I forget if it was like a Starbucks or one of the airlines or something. I feel like I forget who was talking about it, but
Yeah, Airlines does it. Me and Kim were talking about it a while back.
Okay, yeah, yeah, that's a good point. You know, to get some, like, you know, you hold the stock, you get. I don't know what it is, but you know, if you're flying, you get maybe you get on quicker, or you get access to one of those like little lounges you can kind of hang out in, you know, while you wait for your flight, type of thing. Let me.
Jonathan, have you ever thought about like being an advisor or anything like Edward Jones? I always went that road. I was almost going to be one. They didn't accept me. It's pretty hard to get into something like that. Have you ever thought about doing that, or what do you do for a living? Or
Yeah, I thought about it. So just in general, what I do, I work at, we have a family restaurant,
okay,
and then I do property management, and then I just invest on the side too. I thought about doing like advisor and stuff like that. The only thing though is some of the firms, it would be difficult. Like Edward Jones they're more based on like a sales kind of style. So I think if I were to do anything, maybe analyst would probably be a better route.
sure, yeah, yeah. No, I just think you'd be very good at it. You got a good personality. You're nice to people. You know what I mean? You explain things well. I think you'd be good at that, you know, and even my advisor's the one that kind of said you should get into it. And I thought I would be good myself, but obviously they weren't looking for me, you know, but, it's a hard process. I know what you mean with sales, where you almost have to go door to door to get your people, kind of what he did with me. And then, you know, then when you get enough, you kind of have your own little business. You know what I mean? I know some of them you can take over, you know, like if somebody leaving or retiring, you can take over. I think that would be the best if you could have already clients there, you know, because it is. I think you get to an age too where I don't want to go door knocking. You know what I mean? It's just, you know, and it's hard to get clients, you know.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then that's kind of the whole age thing, and where you want to get clients and who actually has like the money.
Yep.
So you want to get young people because they'll get money.
Yep.
But the older generation has money, so you can do stuff with it.
Yep. And then to build that trust, you know, it's hard just to see a guy knocking at your door. You know, everybody hates that when you go to your door and say who's there selling something. You know what I mean? And then you're trying to explain yourself, and you know, it's hard. It's hard. You know, that's something I couldn't do. Maybe when I was 20, I could, but no way now. You know.
Yeah, it's like you knock on the door and you're like, wait, I'm not trying to sell you Mormonism.
No, I just hate that eerie feeling. I don't know if you ever had to do that. I remember doing it as a kid, you know, selling stuff for my sports teams, and I couldn't stand it, you know?
Yeah. No, I've been there. It's tough, you know, like you said, you know, it's like, 'cause you never know what to expect. And
yeah. And then people are just different now, I think, you know, they're just not as personable, you know, they're all kind of in their home and they want to be left alone, which I get, but it's just nobody wants to talk, you know?
Yeah, that's still true.
Yeah, that was actually one of my least favorite jobs I did growing up. Was I delivered phone books.
Sure.
Oh man, that was tough.
Yeah. I remember I had a college job where I forget what it was. We were working for some guy. He was in real estate, and you know, we're down. I'm from Boston, so we were down at, I think, Boston University is a long strip of just, you know, campus or whatever. And it was during our January college. This was years, long time ago, but during our college break, and this guy owned the real estate company, so we had to literally he was trying to get kids to sign up for like not dorms, but like living like renting areas. So we had to just get a stack full of flyers and just pass them out, to people. Yeah. I remember that being like daunting, like the first time you do it, but then once you get so many no's, you're just like, whatever, at least I was with a buddy, so it was a little bit better, but it's just like, I still remember that, just people coming down the street and you're basically just shoving flyers in their face, just hoping that they take them. It's like a numbers game at the end of the day.
Crazy. So do you go to a lot of sporting events like the Celtics and Boston, or baseball?
Yeah, off and on. So the latest one I went to was this was a good one. It's so I do accounting work too, but it was actually through my work. But we got to go to, the Patriots they're pretty bad now, but we got to go to the Patriots. It was the last game of the season, the Patriots-Jets game.
Oh, cool.
And it was a snow game, so it was the first time I ever been to a snow game. So it was cool. Like they had a nice little they got like the Putnam what do they call it? There's like a little middle area, the Putnam club or whatever. So they had some tickets there, which was nice. And we could go in and out, so we could sit there for I think we sat outside for a quarter, but then inside is like a big screen TVs and you get your food or not. So that was nice. And before the game, they have like I guess for the club members, every week they have a player come out and talk to them. So we got to meet one of their old running backs, James White. So he talked and got to take a picture with him. And then at halftime, they let us go out on the field. So it was really nice. I ended up bringing my wife and my parents, because they had never been to a game, so it was nice. It ended up being Belichick's last game, so they lost the game, but it was a nice little nice memories. We took some pictures and whatnot.
For sure, that's cool.
Yeah, but I definitely want to get to. I haven't been to a Celtics game in probably 2 years, but I definitely want to get to hopefully some playoff games. This year.
Yeah, they're good. They're good.
Yeah. Where are you from? What parts, Henry?
I'm Minnesota, so my Timberwolves.
Oh, I was gonna say I kind of noticed the accent, but I didn't want to.
Yep. So my Timberwolves are doing well this year, so I hope hopefully they can get in there.
Yeah, they're doing real good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to St. Paul once this was a while back for work, so I have been to Minnesota. I went to the mall. The Mall of America?
Yep.
Yeah. It was nice down there. It was cold. I thought New England was cold. It's even colder down there.
Yeah, we're lucky. We've had a really mild winter. It's almost 50 today, so it's been really good winter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No snow, really. We've had it only about maybe a few inches, so it's been beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. And Jonathan, you're in New Orleans, right? So it must be warm. Is it warm this time of year?
Yeah, it's starting to warm up. It's about like 68, I think, today.
Wow.
I'd take that any day.
Yeah.
That's nice.
No, it's the rare, like, around this time, it's good weather. And wait, like, 4 days, it's going to be probably 98, 102.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really nice. Yeah. I was looking at something. I think Walmart, I don't know. I thought I saw something in my thing. We were talking about the stock splits earlier. I think Walmart did a 3-for-1. I read, or they're doing one. I know I logged into my broker and they said something like, I don't know. I thought I read something that they were doing a stock split.
Yeah, they're doing one in the future.
Oh, in the future. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you guys invest in Walmart? That's one I've never really gotten into. I've always been tempted, but I haven't.
Yeah, I haven't as much. It's been similar with me where like I keep saying I should own some. I should own because I wanted to get some Costco's, but Costco's was like really high. I was waiting for a pullback, so I'm like, all right, maybe I'll do Walmart. It was on my mind. I never pulled the trigger, and then a couple months fast forward, I'm like, oh, they're at all time highs. you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, no, Costco is a good one, but that was one I have a rule just for like risk that
Mhm.
whenever a stock reaches all-time highs, I need to leave some runners, but I pretty much sell out.
Mhm.
So I was one. I wish I kept some, but I sold out of my Costco.
Yeah.
Eh.
Do you guys invest in Tesla at all?
I don't. I don't touch Tesla. That's
Yeah.
one that I don't touch.
Mhm.
I grabbed it, I think, when it was in the early hundreds, and I just sold it about a month ago. So I made a little off it. I only had
Okay.
like 40 or 50 shares, but I got out of it too. It was just, I thought I don't know. I think it's going to it went lower eventually. Now it just went up now again. But yeah, I think you're right. Stay away from it.
Mhm. Yeah, same here. I did like a couple trades off and on, a couple shares, but um, nothing big where I'm
You know,
holding it now. Um, yeah, even Nvidia. I remember I was talking to one of my buddies. Like, it's just crazy. Like, stuff seems high, and then it's like fast forward, and you're like, oh no, it actually was like I remember Nvidia when this thing was like in the 90s,
you know,
and I remember I think I had it around like 50 or 70. And I remember like doubling up and thinking like, oh man, yeah, I crushed it. And I'm like, no. Look back later, I'm like, if I still had those shares, these things is $800.
wow. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, I don't know. It's just like little things. I try to remember, but keep a couple shares, I guess.
You know,
Um, One that I've been looking at, I don't know if you guys see that what is it called? Speaking of like, you know, semiconductors and all that. If you saw the SMCI one that kind of went crazy.
no.
Yeah, this one, I forget what they do. They do, what do they call? Super Microcomputer Inc. I think they do chips of some nature. So I traded them off and on, but this thing was like I think it was like $300 to begin of the year. It got as high as 1,000.
Wow.
But not wanting to really chase that one up there now, I was kind of asking around from some buddies that I know invest in stuff. And one that I've been buying some shares of, it's a little bit cheaper, is VRT. I guess
Okay.
they do the it's about $60 now, $62, but they do I think they do the cooling system for these big chips.
Huh.
So that's one I've been kind of looking at.
Yeah. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, one of my buddies, he's it's actually one of my old managers. He's really into investing, so he got it from a buddy, so he passed it on to me. So I've been looking at that one.
Sure.
Um,
Hey, Papa Joe, how you doing?
Hey, good morning, boys. How you guys doing?
Papa
Good.
Joe, what's going on?
Oh, nice 80 degrees here in Phoenix, Arizona.
Ah, there you go.
Nice.
Need to get down there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Insert name here said, "What do you think of ARM?" ARM's another one I like. We were looking at our Discord. We were looking at it like back in the same thing back in the 50s, where it's like we traded around it. One of those ones where I'm like, I should have got some shares of it, but it was like making this inverse head and shoulders back around like $50-$60. So I was trading it then, and I think it's got as high. Looking at the chart now, it got as high as 160s. So same thing. It's in that conductor, that
I had arm
semiconductor
at 60 and
industry.
sold at 70.
Yeah, yep.
It happens.
Yep, it happens. You never know, right? Like that
Right.
thing could have hit earnings and went the other way. So
For sure.
yeah.
I'm looking at now, even I'm shocked I mean, they don't mean too much, but some of the analysts, they're not too kind to ARM.
Oh yeah.
They're right now 1 star by Morningstar.
Mm-hmm.
It's a semi hold. 3 stars. I guess the
Yeah.
chart seems semi okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they had like a crazy like PE ratio or something I remember reading where it was like the expected like future growth or something. It was like twice of Nvidia or something where like, you know, they gotta like beat every earnings report. So I remember that kind of stuck out where it was like, oh whoa. And then there was one other thing I was reading where I think it's SoftBank. I think they own I want to say I read something where SoftBank owns 90% of their outstanding shares.
Really?
So I was like, I wonder if this is like something where like they own the majority and they're not selling. So like this thing keeps running, but they can sell. I think they can start selling next month. So
Ooh.
I know that was one thing where I was like, are they going to pull the rug type of thing and take profits? Because I'm like, if they're not selling and retail's just pumping this thing up, maybe they're just like, you know what I mean, letting this thing run so it can get as high as possible. And then when that lockup period comes, maybe they pull the rug. So I was even thinking of it like if this thing keeps running, maybe like try to do like a little short audit type of thing.
No, I mean, I'm looking too at just the inception chart, and it's still too new for me to think about a long-term position.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys think we're going to see a pullback Monday?
I read something where they said it was some newsletter I was in where the guy said the last 5, I haven't noticed this, but he said the last 5 to 6 Mondays have been pullbacks. So I was like, that's interesting.
I never knew
I
that.
mean, I keep thinking we're going to get a pullback, and then every time it just keeps ripping. So I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm like I thought yesterday was the day. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
this
so
thing's
did
going
I.
to pull back after, like, a video hit 820. Like, it's Friday, you know what I mean? I said, here it comes when it started dropping. And I remember, like, I was in puts, but I ended up getting out super early just because I didn't trust it. You know what I mean?
All right.
I chickened out. I think I took like I think it was like a 15, 17% gain, and you know, just took the money and left. So
That was the whole thing. Like, I actually thought NVIDIA would miss because the 2 days going up to it, they were down a good bit.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay, percentage-wise, market, I'm going to buy some like VTI and VT, just some safer ETFs to have at my, just back in my long-term portfolio at a cheaper buy, but man, it took off.
Mhm.
Do you
So
mind if I?
now- Yeah.
Yeah, I got a funny, not so funny NVIDIA story. So back in like when I was in college, I just graduated. It was about 2017. I think it was the summer of 2017. I bought like 4 shares of NVIDIA. It was like at 178 before they did all the stock splits, and I sold it at a loss. I mean, maybe I sold it maybe at like a small gain. And some TikToker made a video. It's like, what would have happened if you kept your investment in NVIDIA like 5, 10, 15 years?
Yeah.
So I went
I
back.
saw
It was
that.
yeah, it was like 7 years ago. He did 10. I did 17. It was like a 15,000% increase.
Yeah.
I had $1,000. So I'm like, shit, I really fucked up. It
Yeah.
was $100,000 mistake.
Yeah. No, that's crazy, man. That's
I know
crazy.
somebody that bought NVIDIA at $9.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I was telling Jonathan I had it at like 50s, and I think I sold it at 100 when it doubled, and I thought I made the best trade ever. And I'm like, I'm like, damn, if I just kept those shares, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'd
definitely.
be a lot more money now. I think I probably made like $50 on it or something, $100.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like it's so hard to know like when you should sell because like when you have companies like Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Nvidia, they keep going up, and at a certain point, when you see like right now my Nvidia, I'm up about 200, like about 100%. I know that doesn't sound like a lot considering how much it's growing, but it's like I just keep dollar cost averaging in. It's so hard to know when to sell because I'm like, if I sell now, like, what am I gonna put my money in? Because
Yeah.
I'm gonna put in the S&P or like a growth ETF, but it already has exposure to Nvidia, so it's like, am I really making good moves?
Yeah, it's like one of those things you gotta just like literally. I feel like you just literally gotta just like not look at it, or like check it like every like quarter or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not only that,
Which is
or
tough. You know what I mean? Like you said, when that thing you see the thing's up 100%. You know,
Yeah,
because I'm dealing with that now with like JetBlue. I got I think Barnes called out some JetBlue stock, in the Discord he called out like a buy last year. I bought a couple shit, nothing crazy. I think $100-200 or whatever. But I'm up like 70%. I was up as high as 90%, and I'm like, should I sell it? You know, but I'm like, well, I got the thing around $3, so it's one of those things where I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna hold it, you know, and see what it does. You know, maybe the thing's at like 15 or $20.
I guess stop losses. I guess that's the main thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, that too.
no, I think that's the main thing to learn is, or at least I learned was know your percentages that you're good with. So mine's like if I get anything around a 20% gain, I just start trimming. It doesn't matter what I think. It's just that's a profit I'm okay with, and then I'll slowly scale up. You can change the percentages to meet your whatever your metric is, but I find that to be a better way than some of the others.
Any guys in crypto?
Not
I
really.
have some, but it's a tough one.
Yeah, I found this one. It was called Fetch AI. I bought it at 30 cents, and it's sitting at $1.10 right now.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Jeez.
climbing.
That's awesome.
Hey, Jonathan, quick question. What do you do for work again? Are you a financial advisor? Or do you work in finance? I forget.
No, so actually I'm neither. I work at a family restaurant and I do property management.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I just saw insert name here. I saw you wanted me to talk. You wanted me to talk about the arm sale real quick.
Yeah, I mean, it
that what
sounded
you-
pretty interesting.
Yeah. So I was talking to the chat. So Nvidia was gonna buy ARM like a couple years, or they tried to buy ARM a couple years ago for like 40 billion from SoftBank. And I think SoftBank had bought them for like 32 billion at the time, and they were gonna sell them for 40 billion. So it, seemed like a good deal. They would have made some profit, but I think it was some regulatory thing or something where like it didn't go through. I feel like we're like not like a monopoly, but like they didn't want them to have too much competition at the time. So the deal didn't go through. So fast forward, this was back in 2020s, I think. Fast forward 4 years later, now, ARM's I don't know what the market cap is now, but it's a lot bigger. You know what I mean? Like it hit a 160. So like SoftBank's actually happy that they didn't make that sale. Because they would have. I mean, Nvidia really would have been even more of a powerhouse. Yeah, let me see. I'm just gonna try to see if I can see.
$37 billion.
Huh?
$137 billion.
137 billion. Yeah, yeah. There you go. So they would have made 8 billion, but they would have lost out on 137. Minus that, 40 they would have sold it for. The thing's still going up. So that's the other thing where I'm like, their lockup period I was reading ends next month. So if they were going to sell back then, I would be surprised if they didn't. You know what I mean? Like if whoever the big holders didn't sell some and take some off. So like, I don't know. I might try like a small like put in ARM. something like, I don't know what the option chain looks like. It might be crazy now that it's so high, but I might try, because like I know there's a big gap in the daily, so I might even just try like a lotto, get some cheap out the money put, 2 months out and just see, see if they take some profit. You know,
That's not a bad idea.
yeah, because they own 90%. So I'm like, if they want to sell at 40 billion, they're definitely gonna want to sell at 140.
Right.
Have a good day, Henry. Yeah, that's crazy. Even Nvidia is crazy. It's like 2 trillion.
Yeah.
3
I
now.
just don't get their forward multiples. That's the one that that's one of the main reasons I sold out of Nvidia. So it was like 300 forward multiple. And I was like, I don't get it.
Yeah, it's tough. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's like a lot to ride in on. These earnings.
It's just like but there's like major chip companies like Nvidia is so ahead of the competition. It's so hard to like get that right, what's called differentiator, and really like make a product just as good as a chip, because to make those kind of chips, you need a huge investments, time, resources, and knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
That's the whole thing. I think I didn't realize too how much ahead they were over their competition. Because I was like, okay, this is evaluated really high. I may look at just putting more into AMD, but I didn't realize how just far advanced Nvidia was over AMD and even Intel.
Yeah, because they got so much different, at least from what I've read. It just seems like they have so many like the gaming, and they got
Depends.
they do the car, they do like,
Did you see a
So-
car?
oh, like not the car, they do like for self-driving, like
Oh,
the
yeah.
like the chips for the self-driving. But it seemed like from there, I didn't listen to the conference call. I saw something on Twitter. Somebody put up like a little summary, but the thing that stuck out to me where they was like the demand for these chips is like still exceeding their supply. Where it's like, you know what I mean? Like they can't even make enough, which seems like a good problem. It's like they're like,
I don't know if you guys have Waymo in your cities, but out here, like in Arizona, you can call for it's basically an Uber with no driver. There's nobody in the car, and the car takes you where you
Oh,
want
really?
to go. Yeah, you see them all over the city. I just want to have my wife drop me off at work, and then just take one home and do a TikTok on it.
yeah, that'd be cool. We don't got them. At least I haven't seen them out here. But
Oh, they're
that's
all
cool.
over the city.
Oh, geez.
And do you find they're good, riding in them?
I haven't ridden in one yet, but I'll just look over and see two people in the back seat, no driver, and it's like, oh shit. Or you just see them going down the road, and there's no driver and nobody in the car at all. It's just
man.
driving by itself.
That's
It's
crazy.
wild.
Yeah. Oh man, that's cool.
I
Yeah,
can
you should do one.
of it.
Yeah, you should do a TikTok. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Pop in one and just record it. Go to drive through McDonald's. It's like, you want anything?
Act like the Grim Reaper in the back.
Just driving through just random places. That'd be funny.
It's like what I read online. It's like, in San Francisco, like the citizens, they hate all of the innovation that happens in San Francisco at times, because all these major tech companies in Silicon Valley, they would implement it in San Fran and do beta testing. So they have to take all of the disadvantages of being the first mover. So when there's Uber, self-driving, if they want to implement new technologies, it's like San Francisco has to be exposed, whether they want it or not.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I know Pittsburgh actually did self-driving cars a while ago. It was pretty cool. Like my friend lived in Pittsburgh, and they were giving out free Ubers if you do self-driving.
Oh, okay. So they're probably just trying to get data. They're trying to get data, and it's like people are like, all right, I'll take a free ride.
Yeah.
You know?
I think
As long as it's not on the highway.
Yeah, I know, right?
City streets we're good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go, boys. So have a good day.
All right,
All
Papa
right,
Joe.
good talk to you, Papa Joe.
Later.
Yeah, man. Love you.
But yeah, no, self-driving, I think that's a good, like, innovation to be behind. But I still think it's too early.
The thing is, it's always going to be too early when it comes to self-driving, and it's going to be trial and error. Like the technology, like you can see some Teslas, they've had a lot of issues. We're probably still out like 20, 30 years out of getting self-driving cars, but luckily, like, you know, with AI chips and how fast technology is advancing, maybe the bandwidth will be shorter. Maybe it'll be in like 10 or 15 years.
Well, there are also some just like black swan things that you don't think of. Like Tesla had an issue with what's called the red moon, the eclipse. They had an issue with the eclipse because the cars thought they were stoplights closer than they were.
Oh, okay.
So it threw them off a little bit. Then they updated and it was good. But it's like, how do you think for those random scenarios?
So this is what happens. Have you like wondered why you have to like identify yourself as not a robot on some of like the websites?
Why is that?
Like, you know, when you log into a website and you want to buy like an airline ticket, for example, and you have to go for a verification, it's like, are you a robot? There's two reasons. One, they want to make sure you're not a bot. But two, they actually take that data and they sell it to like the AI companies, because what you're usually identifying is cars and traffic lights. So that data is collected and it's sent over to another company, so they can end up learning. I actually went for an interview at Salam, and they worked with a bunch of AI companies, and they told me this.
Huh. I never knew that. That's interesting.
Yeah, so they have like a lot of things, like a way of collecting data. Unfortunately, like I think China is going to be the first. Like a Chinese company will probably solve self-driving vehicles before a U.S. company. Yeah, just because like they collect so much data from the citizens and all that. So cameras everywhere.
Yeah. This is crazy. It's just crazy, just technology. Like, I don't know if y'all saw that new thing. Like the Neuralink or whatever that Elon Musk is doing. You put like a chip in your brain, and you can I think somebody was like controlling a mouse just by thinking of it, like thinking of the movements on the computer. And it's like, it seems like that's the way stuff's going. It's gonna be self-driving. Everybody's gonna be cyborgs. Gonna have on Vision Pros and these virtual reality headsets.
Yeah. Speaking of the new Apple things, glasses, whatever they're called, I don't know. I'm still skeptical.
If they were like $350 versus like $3,500, I'm like, maybe I'll get one and try it out. But I'm like, it's just, I don't know.
So, by the way, Jonathan, stocks and day trading. By chance, either of you interested in like ever listening to like business podcasts or like knowing what like that kind of like financial news? There's a good podcast from Morning Brew.
Okay.
They interviewed Mark Zuckerberg recently, and because Mark Zuckerberg called out Apple and saying that Vision Pro is like not as good as the Meta Quest. It's a really good podcast. If you ever have nothing to do, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I'm writing that down. I think I saw like a snippet of that, like Zuckerberg or Elon. They were like, it's crap, basically. The new one. So you said it's Morning Brew podcast.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I'm not gonna spoil it too much, but it was like one thing. It's like it was like Mark Zuckerberg like stroking his ego too much because he did say like this technology does exist, and he said like he gave a call out to like Ray Bans because apparently they have like some AI glasses as well. I didn't know.
Oh yeah, yeah, they do. I've seen those ones like on some people did them on TikTok. They seem like they're not as big, but it's like they look like regular glasses. But I think you can like you can record in them. So like I think somebody, for example, they had them on and they were recording the TikTok. So like it looked like it was just from their point of view. They're walking around the house and stuff. But I forget. I forget who does those. If Facebook is partnered with Ray-Bans to do that, or
I don't think so. I think Meta has its like own like Vision Quest separately. I think it might be Google and like is supporting that Ray-Ban. Again, don't quote me on that, but I think that's what it is.
yeah, okay. Yeah, I remember Google had glasses back. They had like the Google Lens a
The
while
pack-
back.
I'm pretty upset about Google. Like, like they have like so much like capabilities and technology, and it's like they're kind of stuck in this like middle. Like, they haven't done anything like that significant in the last like
Yeah,
20 years.
right.
Well, I think their marketing is not quite there because Bard really isn't that bad, but it's hard to compete with Chat GPT, and so it's like why push out marketing right there when your competition is just so superior.
You know what it is? I think like with Google, for example, they really pride themselves on like quality and like pushing out a great product. Because I don't know how much you know about ChatGPT, but in the beginning phases, it was like really bad. Like ChatGPT has a lot of problems. Like it can't solve math problems right now. I used it for like school before. Sometimes it comes off as like kind of racist. And there's like also like issues with like citations in Google search. And the reason, like, I actually looked up because for my MBA, like, what about Google Bard? It's that they've been working on this technology, but they're hesitant to push it out as quickly as possible because they're afraid if they push something out too fast, it's gonna like flop in the marketplace, and then someone can come in, mimic what they did, and learn from their mistakes.
Oh,
I think that's what Google's main problem is. I think they're too worried. It's good to focus on quality, but I think they're too concerned about quality, and they're losing that first mover advantage.
Well, I will say too, Google has the advantage of they're in so many things that they can focus on quality. Like they get revenue from websites, they get revenue from YouTube, they get revenue from ads. They just have so many revenue streams that they can take the luxury approach of making something right.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good point. But, I think in this space, it's like, what is like Google's like goal? Like, because like, usually the search engine, I think they're trying to become the top tech company now.
Yeah.
Their cloud service is so behind Azure and AWS.
Even I know TikTok was taking some of their like even just the Google.com search history or that realm. Like I think with the new generation, TikTok's like taking a good portion of that, where like a lot of people are just coming on TikTok to search stuff. So even like their phones, like I don't know, I thought about getting one of their phones once. Like their phones are kind of cheap, but it's like same thing. Like I was kind of looking for more like their I forget what their phone's called. The Google phone.
It's the Pixel, right?
The Google Pixel, yeah. It's just everything like you were saying, like it's just like mid tier. Like it's like nothing really less like a wow factor where you would think you would at least get something, from a Google.
You know, Google owns Android too.
Oh, really? Oh, so maybe maybe they're all set then if they own Android.
I think the issues that were like, I don't want to assume that you're American, but
Yeah.
yeah, like I think because we're American and like we're one of the main countries that uses iPhones. If you go to like other countries in like third world or like these like developing countries,
Uh-huh.
they don't have the money to buy iPhones. Like my family's from India,
Mm-hmm.
no one has an iPhone there. They all use like Google and Androids.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, the Pixel did seem like a good like for the quality because one of my buddies he's a big techie, so we were like going back and forth. Like we ended up getting iPhones, but we were like, I had Androids before. I kind of did iPhone, then I did Android, back to iPhone. But at one point we were thinking of going to Google. We just try different things. It seems like the Android and the iPhone's the big promoted ones, at least here. So we went through a phase where we were like, well, is there something better out there? Type of thing.
No, it was the whole thing like back in the day. What was it? Before the iPod Classic came out, Microsoft had the Zoom or the Zune. And I actually tried that, and I thought it was pretty good, but it just couldn't compete. Yeah, the Zune.
Oh, that was what was that, a phone?
No, it was like an iPod kind of thing.
Oh, okay. I don't remember that. The Zune, huh?
Now I'm gonna show my age.
I'm gonna Google it. If I see the picture, I'll probably remember it. Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember this. Yeah, I had to Google it yeah, okay. Yeah. Even Microsoft, they have a what do they have? I think they got the Halo or the HoloLens. They got they have a headset of their own too, but I think it's more like at least from what I read, it's more for like industrial work, like if you're an engineer, you could put it on and you could be looking at a blueprint with somebody else, and it's more like interactive. Or if you're like a doctor, you could be looking at something. I think it's called the HoloLens. That's what it's called.
Talking about Microsoft, you know how like they're really big into gaming? I think they own Activision now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's actually even though they lose money on the Xbox, what they do is like with these like exclusive titles and stuff, they can sell ad space in the games. So like when you're playing a game like in GTA, you might see a random billboard for like Monster Energy drink, and they make money from that because they're so tired of seeing ads on TV. You can pay extra to avoid it, but if it's in a game, like the consumer will like not really think about it. It'll be like a natural experience.
Yeah.
That's actually one thing that I found interesting was there's no longer going to be a console wars.
A what?
Because majority of income is from in-app purchases. So no one makes anything from their consoles pretty much.
Yeah,
So like you can play Halo now on PlayStation.
Yeah, it's all what do they call it? Like it's
cross-platform.
yeah, exactly, cross-platform. Yeah.
Yeah. Even in games like Epic games like Fortnite, like that, it's easy to push a game out for free and just sell skins, add-ons, and extensions.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Yeah.
It's funny because like my friend asked him like how much has he spent on Fortnite. And sometimes it's like a couple dollars here and there. Every once in a while, like get a skin, maybe an emote. And we looked through it. I'm like, he spent $100 on this game.
Yeah, I believe it.
Did you guys ever play Smash Brothers as a kid?
Yeah.
I fucking hate the DLC games. It's like if you want the characters, you gotta pay like maybe like $20 to unlock 3 new characters. and just because it's like I shit you not, the game was like maybe like $50,
Yeah.
and every single character, I think I spent about $150 on that game.
Oh, jeez, yeah, yeah. Smash Brothers, that's a classic. That's a classic.
Now that's gonna be an interesting one too. I think part of the reason gaming is changing so much is the size of storage for these systems is just not there. So like if you try and play Ark or if you try and play GTA or some of these open world, like your system will crash. Or you can only store like one game.
You know, I'm gonna disagree with you there because I do have an Xbox. I get 1 TB. Like for my station, it's a lot of games. So like right now, I think I have like 8 or 9 games installed on my Xbox. And then what they do, it's like they want people to buy like Game Pass, which is like where you get access to a library of games. Like so for me, it's pretty seamless. I pay about $17 a month. I get Xbox Live. I have the games I play. I can undownload games that I don't play too often, and I can always re-download them again because it's all saved in the cloud. So I never like restart my game essentially.
Yeah, yeah. I think Xbox they're definitely the better of, like you said, with the 1 TB. They're definitely the better, at least from my experience, the better of the systems. So I had an Xbox, and I got to get a new one. Ended up getting fried somehow when I went on vacation. I came back and I think a storm or something hit. It's like one side of the house, like my TV was out, the plugs didn't work. But like when I had it, it was a similar thing where like I would just I would download the games, you know. I didn't have that many games, you know. I had a couple sports games, Call of Duty type of thing.
You know what? How Microsoft can make more money if somehow they get in like the internet game, like kind of like AT&T Xfinity. Because like Josh, I don't know if you've ever tried downloading an Xbox game like Call of Duty. On my internet, it takes about 40 minutes to download a game. So I have to like download those games at nighttime, and then and I can play them like the next day. It's so annoying.
Yeah,
That's like the good old LimeWire days. Download a song, wait for it one day.
Yeah, it's like you got to just do something. You just leave it on. Yeah, I hate that. Like you get a new game, you're all pumped up to play it, and then it's like, yeah, this is gonna be an hour and 30 minutes, and you're like, really? Like, what am I gonna do now?
And you know, it sucks. It's like you can't even play your Xbox because if you play your Xbox when it's downloading, it's gonna take even longer.
It's gonna take even longer, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I also saw, didn't Nintendo push back their console?
Probably.
I think so. Is it the new Switch? I don't know what they're calling it. The new Switch, yeah. Yeah, they pushed that back.
And again, it's kind of like what you said. It's like as long as your console's pretty decent, you don't need to keep pushing out consoles every single year. It's just easier just like spend all that money on like R&D, improving the user experience. On Xbox, if you keep logging into games and winning achievements, you can collect points. And then with those points, you can like redeem it for like merch or perks. Like I think if you get 100,000 points, you can get like an Xbox hoodie. And but it's like to get 100,000 points, like you have to like play so much Xbox. I think you get like 2 points just for logging in every day.
Yeah.
So it's like it's insane.
Yeah. Keep you coming back. You know?
I think that might make it worse though if you just incentivize players and purchasing. Man, those Call of Duty players are gonna be top notch. If you're starting out, you may not even compete.
Yeah. Well, they got like, what is it like? They got like clubs and everything now for those. Like, it's different now. Like when I was growing up, they didn't have all that, but it's like like the 2K, like I'll play 2K. That's my main game, Call of Duty. When I used to have my Xbox, but now it's like there's like leagues. You know, it's like a 2K league, and like you can't even tell kids like you're not gonna go anywhere with those video games. You know, if they're good, you know, some of these kids, you know, they're making money or they're doing these leagues, and I think there's like a 2K league, like they travel. It's like the whole thing. Like they're playing video game basketball, but they're treating it like a AAU team or something. Like they're traveling and they got games and they're wagering on these games and whatnot.
No, it's crazy. That's actually one position that I'm starting to scale out of. I got a gaming company, ETF,
Okay.
and they're starting to blow up because they're finding more people in the younger generations are gravitating towards these, like you're saying, Fortnite arena type shows versus football.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my
So-
cousin, he entered a Fortnite tournament. He won like $5,000, which was like crazy. I'm like,
Yeah, see?
I'm like, I think I probably spent like, I don't think I've ever spent $5,000 in games my whole life. I think maybe it's getting up there. But yeah, like 5,000. Like, dude, like when I played a game, I lost money. I like to play Xbox Live like Halo. It cost me $50. No, like $50 to get the game, $60 to play online, and I had the game for about like 5 years before it transitioned. That means like I spent about like $160 on that one game.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, yeah, also these kids, like, they're using performance enhancements.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so these kids, like, they'll go on, like, the black market, and they'll, like, meet with, like, certain, like, coders and developers to help, like, put in, like, aimbots and, like, other cheat codes.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like they're taking like
Taking steroids.
like they're taking stuff to get like super focused. I'm like, shit.
I mean, they might be
Like,
doing that, too.
They might be doing that. Who knows, right? Yeah, like you can't.